Hi, I'm your host, Larissa Worstiak. Through this podcast, I aim to empower and inspire jewelry entrepreneurs and innovators so they can thrive by doing what they love. I'm passionate about digital marketing for jewelry brands, and I'm excited to share my passion with you. This is episode 105, and today I'm going to be addressing the topic of customer touch points in jewelry marketing. What are they and why do they matter? Keep listening for some really important insights. But before we get all that, I want to share some marketing related news and insights from the past week that caught my attention. I really want to talk about Black Friday and Cyber Monday because this podcast is going to be released after those 2 days. But right now, when I'm recording this, it's actually the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of like sitting on my hands waiting to see the results of this year's promotion. So maybe we'll talk about that on a future episode. But let's talk about some news. So are you still convinced that artificial intelligence is the stuff of sci-fi movies? Think again. AI will definitely affect how you approach your marketing in 2021. Not only will it improve product recommendation engines, but it will also enhance pay-per-click advertising campaigns and improve the usefulness of chatbots. If you're slow in general to embrace technology in your marketing strategy, then now's definitely the time to at least embrace AI a little bit, and you can start with a small step like implementing live chat on your e-commerce website. Facebook for Business recently shared 5 tips for making your online shopping experience more friendly and easy for customers. They suggest making sure that your site is optimized for mobile use, confirming that customers can check out in just a few clicks, accepting multiple payment methods, having a fast and easy return process, and optimizing your page load speed. If you do notice that many customers are leaving without adding to their carts or even abandoning their carts, then it may be worth checking out these 5 items and making sure that they're up to par. Forbes recently shared a really great article about avoiding, quote, shiny object syndrome in marketing. Are you prone to getting distracted by new ideas and technologies? Do you often quickly abandon one marketing strategy because another one seems newer or even better? You're probably pulling your business in too many different directions instead of focusing in just one place in order to see results, which could take a long time to happen. To avoid this syndrome, you'll want to evaluate any new ideas critically, stay focused on the goals, and monitor your performance and the data, because data doesn't lie. If you want to get to the links to the articles I share in this segment of the podcast, you can sign up for my email newsletter by visiting joyjoya.com/sign up, and you'll get a digest with the links every time a new episode drops. Okay, let's talk about customer touchpoints. So in many conversations with my clients, I often use the phrase customer touchpoints. But I do realize that touch points is a vague, catch-all term that could probably use some clarification. What are customer touch points exactly, and why is it important for your jewelry brand to remain consistent across all of them? In this episode, I'm going to be explaining where to find touch points, how to make them better, and why they matter. So to put it simply, a customer touchpoint is any interaction that a customer has with your jewelry brand at any point in the customer journey. From when the customer first encounters you, through when the customer makes a purchase, and even beyond that. You can probably name a few customer touchpoints right off the top of your head, like your social media profiles, your email marketing campaigns, or even your e-commerce website. However, you may be overlooking some important customer touchpoints that need your attention now. For example, jewelry brands can also have the following lesser-known touchpoints. 1. Product reviews. In the decision-making process, a prospective customer will often consult your product reviews if they're available. If you don't have any product reviews, then you run the risk of coming across as illegitimate or untrustworthy. However, if you do have product reviews, any negative ones may also be perceived as a red flag to your customers. Your product reviews don't really represent a direct interaction that the customer is having with your brand, but they do allow customers to interact with people who are kind of your brand ambassadors. So in that way, they are a customer touch point. The customer will weigh reviews heavily in the decision-making process because they're unbiased and genuine. 2, peer recommendations. Like with product reviews, peer recommendations don't necessarily represent a direct interaction that the customer is having with your brand, but they do represent an interaction with another person who has purchased something or had some other kind of experience with your brand. Current customers who are already fans of your brand will hopefully, in a best case scenario, sing your praises to friends and family and be the customer touch point that you deserve. Make sure to treat those customers, the ones who are talking about you, sharing, treat them like VIPs so they continue speaking highly of you and they continue being your best representatives. A third touch point that a lot of jewelry brands overlook is interactions with customer service. As you probably know from your own interactions with customer service representatives with any kind of brand, one negative experience with customer service can completely sour your opinion of that brand. Waiting for hours on hold or even being unable to reach an actual human being can put a bad taste in anyone's mouth. If you want to optimize all your customer touch points, then you need to make customer service a priority. And you need to make sure that everyone on your customer service team is consistently delivering a positive experience. Next is shipping updates. This one's super overlooked, but it's becoming even more and more important to have transparency about your shipping, especially when the biggest e-commerce players like Amazon are already way ahead of the game. Today's customers want full transparency when it comes to fulfillment and shipping. They want to know how quickly they'll receive their package, and they want to know where the package is at any given time. The more transparency you can provide about your fulfillment and shipping processes, the better. For ideas and tools, especially if you have a Shopify store, you'll definitely want to visit the Shopify App Store and search for shipping related apps because there are a lot of them that you can play around with and install to make your shipping process way more transparent and even kind of fun for the customer. The last customer touch point, again, this is an often overlooked one, is unpackaging or unboxing of product. How much thought have you put into even your shipping materials and definitely your packaging? Part of the fun of ordering something from an e-commerce store is getting your package in the mail and opening it as if it's a gift just for you. If anything about that experience is less than exciting, then it could tarnish your brand reputation and negatively impact the customer experience overall. At every step of the customer journey, you have the chance to delight the customer or turn the customer away. If you haven't taken the time to consider every customer touch point in the customer journey, then you could potentially be losing a customer's interest even if he or she likes everything else about your brand. You also need to consider how any change that you make to one customer touch point can disrupt the entire customer journey. So I want to share a personal anecdote that I think relates to this. So I'm a customer of a jewelry brand that I love and I've recommended them to many people. However, I happen to have a lot of trouble receiving FedEx packages at my home. So I try not to order from businesses that only offer FedEx as the shipping option because it just becomes super inconvenient and I'd rather have USPS or UPS. So anyway, recently, this jewelry brand announced by email in a very excited way that they would now exclusively be shipping their products via FedEx because they thought it was a more secure and reliable option. Now, I read that email and I was super disheartened because, as I said, I have trouble receiving FedEx packages and it just becomes more of a pain for me than it's worth. Now, this might be a great decision for the jewelry brand, and it might even be a great decision for a lot of the customers who aren't like me and don't have trouble receiving FedEx packages. However, for me moving forward, I think I might hesitate ordering from this brand because I just don't want to deal with the headache of trying to get my FedEx package. So you always have to consider that any change, even if it seems great to you as a business, make sure that you're really tapping into what your customers want, and consider that not everyone will be affected in the same way by any change that you make to your customer touch points. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some, but ideally you want to win more than you lose. So when you change or neglect a customer touch point, as I said, you do run the risk of losing customers. However, you also create an opportunity to gain new customers if you're updating a touch point in a strategic way. Before you make any decisions about customer touch points, no matter how small, you need to ask yourself some important questions. Is this decision serving the customer experience in a positive way? And do we have the data to prove it? Or are we making this decision based on a whim because we feel it's best? Furthermore, is the decision in line with our brand identity, and does it reinforce consistency? Are we creating any confusion or unnecessary complications? I also found this really great article in the Harvard Business Review titled "Touchpoints Bring the Customer Experience to Life" by Adam Richardson. And he had a whole list of some additional questions that I thought were worth mentioning here. So, what specific things are we doing at each touch point? Are the touch points addressing customer motivations and answering their questions or allaying concerns? Are they working for your target customers and for novices and experts alike? Are the touch points addressing your customers' unmet, underlying, and latent needs? Are there needs going unstated that neither you nor your competitors are solving? Are all the touch points speaking with the same tone, the same message, even the same words? Is your brand being communicated effectively and clearly? Are there hiccups in the flow from one stage to the next that may cause potential customers to drop off or cause dissatisfaction for current customers and perhaps costly product returns or helpline calls? Are the touch points differentiating you from competitors and helping you retain the customer? These are all such excellent questions. And honestly, touch points are a testament and real proof that no one marketing tactic or marketing strategy can be like the Hail Mary for your brand, because all these touch points, all of these marketing tactics, they work together as the customer moves from one point to another in their journey. And for a business owner to expect that there's like one savior marketing tactic, it's just unrealistic and unreasonable, because all of these things have to work together, kind of like thinking of your favorite soup. If it's missing one key ingredient, then the soup isn't going to taste correctly. However, if you've really nailed the amount and quantity and timing of all of the ingredients that you add to the soup, then you're going to have an amazing experience eating that soup. So basically what I'm saying is marketing is a lot like delicious soup. So all of these touch points together can help you plot your customer journey map, which can provide insight into a typical journey a customer's having. From awareness, so when they first meet your brand, to purchase, when they check out. Over time, the cool thing about customer touchpoints is that the longer you're in business and the more strategic you are with your touch points, you'll likely find a pattern that illuminates a typical customer journey. For example, you might find that most of your customers are discovering you on Instagram. From there, they're visiting your website. From there, they're signing up for your email newsletter. And after that, they're receiving an average of maybe 4 to 5 emails before they decide to purchase. And it usually happens when you send an email that's directly related to a sales or promotion offer. So over time, you might see a pattern like that, and that pattern is going to be different for every jewelry brand. Once you're aware of this journey and you feel pretty confident that you know the steps your customers are taking, you can take steps to optimize all of those points in the journey to ensure that as many customers as possible are taking it and that they're not dropping off and that you're not losing their attention. What do you think about all this? You can always email me, Larissa, that's LARYSSA @joyjoya.com with your questions, comments, and feedback. As a reminder, my new book, Jewelry Marketing Joy, is now published and ready to ship, and it has 5 stars on Amazon. You can check out the reviews if you search Jewelry Marketing Joy on Amazon. If you'd like to learn more about the book and how you can order your own copy, please visit joyjoya.com/book.